You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hi, I'm Joe Heath.
I'm Toni Heath.
And this is the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon presents the Watch-A-Thon of...
Are you rolling the theme song?
Yeah, like we didn't have a special tune for Tank Girl.
It just feels like it should have its own theme.
Well, should we make it up right now?
Yeah, oh yeah, you should.
Star Trek is what we're watching right now. Star Trek is what we're watching right now. How's that?
That was beautiful. I'm weeping.
I think I'm just going to play the regular theme song. Today we're going to be watching the rejected pilot of Star Trek called The Cage. I have a lot of Joe facts about this. Are you ready?
Yeah, I could just play another round of Splatoon while you...
Don't do that. Okay, so this episode was completed January 22nd, 1965. It was rejected in February of 1965, reworked into Star Trek Season 1, Episodes 11 and 12, The Menagerie, Part 1 and 2, which aired on November 17th and 24th, 1966, was finally released to the public in its original form on VHS on October 14th, 1986, then made its television debut on October 15th, 1988. So, to give you context for all that, with what you know about, which is Doctor Who.
Yeah.
As much as you can remember it.
What I understand about the past is all Doctor Who.
So, it was made in 1965 and was rejected around the time The Romans was airing. That's the first Doctor.
Oh, okay.
Season 2.
So is it a big deal that it's in color?
It might be. I don't know. I guess so. Sure. I mean, Doctor Who wasn't for a few more seasons to go.
Or was Doctor Who just slowed?
I think Doctor Who was a little slow. But it was it came out with the serial right before the Web Planet came out. So that's how old this is.
It is interesting because I do think of it as...
more modern?
Because it's in color.
I do too.
If you had told me guess what was being made at the time.
Yeah, you would have said some Third Doctor or something?
Yeah.
When it was reworked into the Star Trek episodes, the Menagerie came out around when The Power of the Daleks came out. That was the first Second Doctor serial.
Wow, okay.
And that's almost a year later. And then when it came out on VHS, Mind Warp was airing. The one with the la 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 guy. That's how long it took for this episode to come out proper.
Huh.
And then when it was finally aired on TV, it was when Remembrance of the Daleks, the seventh Doctor Daleks episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
This fucking unaired pilot spanned the entirety of Doctor Who, from first to seventh Doctor. I think that's wild. And those are the Joe Facts.
Joe Facts!
You have anything you want to say about that?
No, my round on Splatoon just ended. Good timing.
I thought you didn't do bits.
I don't do bits. I was genuinely playing Splatoon.
I'm gonna spoil the illusion. Toni was not playing Splatoon.
Don't let him know I do bits.
The bonus episodes are happening now. We break into the real behind the scenes, uncover your lies. So we watched The Cage, which is available on Paramount Plus. It's listed as the first episode, which is weird because it's not.
That's very strange.
It's episode 0. That's what it is. It's 0.5, maybe. I'm going to do a quick summary and then we're just going to talk about it. How does that sound?
Okay.
I wrote a summary.
When can I talk about the theme song? After the summary?
After the summary.
Okay, you go for it.
This is the summary I wrote.
I'm listening intently because I don't retain information.
We watched this 2 weeks ago. We were going to record last weekend, but our air conditioning was broken and it was too hot to think.
It was too hot to exist.
So our air conditioning is fixed now. I'm actually a little cold.
I know, but I haven't wanted to turn it up because I'm the novelty of being a little cold is so exciting.
It is. So, you don't remember anything. So I'm going to give the summary to
as you were
refresh
giving
your
the
memory.
summary, I'm going to be those were my opinions. They'll come back to me.
Okay, so this is what The Cage is about. The USS Enterprise receives a distress call from the planet Talos 4. Captain Pike and his really nondescript crew beam down to the planet where they meet a stranded science expedition and a woman named Vina. Pike is captured by big bulbous-brained Telosians and put in a cell. He soon discovers the expedition were all hallucinations, except for Vina, kinda. They want Pike and Vina to bone, so keep putting them in different scenarios to get them to do so, different hallucinations. But Pike consistently refuses. 2 of the female Enterprise crew are beamed into his cell for further boning attempts, but Pike uses his base emotions to cloud his own mind and block the Telosians, and he escapes with his crew and Vina. The Telosians confront them again, but they threaten to blow themselves up. The crew does, the Enterprise crew, threaten to blow themselves up, which is when the Telosians realize humans don't like being slaves. Weird. Then they let them go, but Vina wants to return to the Telosians because she's actually physically disfigured and likes the hallucination of looking nice. So Pike lets her go, return to the Telosians, and the Telosians make a hallucinatory Pike to live with her. The end!
Oh, that's right. I do have a lot of opinions about this.
All right, what do you want to talk about? Let's just freestyle.
Okay.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I would like to talk about the theme song.
Ooh.
Because this is, I think we've talked about it before. This is the first Star Trek I've ever seen.
Have you not seen, like, the J.J. Abrams movies or anything?
I don't count those.
Those are the only things I've seen.
I don't count those because, 1, I think I saw, like, the first one, and that's it. And
I've seen
2,
the first 2.
I don't remember it.
The first one's fun. The second one sucks ass. I haven't seen the third.
I don't remember it. I didn't expect... Is that the theme? Like,
yes. That's
forever?
The thing. Yeah.
It's not what I expected.
I mean, not forever, just for the original
But,
series.
Yeah. It's so... I don't know. Sitcom-y?
A little bit.
It's not what I would have expected.
It sounds like I Dream of Jeannie or something.
Yeah!
Or Bewitched.
Exactly.
Not Star Trek.
You're like watching a spaceship and it's like, dun, dun. I'm like, I don't really know what we're about to do here.
I'd actually heard it before, but like only once or twice. Enough to know it semi well.
It's no Doctor Who theme of like, we're about to see some weird shit.
It is a little like, what the fuck is this? You know what it is? It's kind of like what the Doctor Who movie, the Peter Cushing movie. That's kind of what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it's the 60s. It's not really sci-fi. It's just, it's the 60s. So, like, okay, before we dive into this, what Star Trek do you know? Like, what about Star Trek are you aware of?
I know there's a guy named Spock. I know there's a guy named Kirk. I know people want to see them fuck. I know there's tribbles, and they're cute, but problematic.
Are they problematic? I didn't know that.
They're troublesome.
Oh, okay. I thought they just said something racist.
Oh, I don't know what Star Trek she's from, but I know Janeway is hot.
I don't know which one she's in either, but I know she's in Orange is the New Black. Okay, wait, you don't know any other characters?
Nope.
Wow, okay.
Well, okay, wait, no. I know Data, and I know there's a
guy with a visor. I think his name's Geordie LaForge.
I don't know that.
You don't know Picard? You know Picard.
Yeah.
He's fucking he's Professor X.
Yeah, but I know that.
Okay, but back to the original. Chekhov? Scotty?
Gun? Oh, he does the beaming, right?
Yeah.
I know that. I know he does. I know he does the beaming.
Bones?
Bones. He's a scientist.
He's a doctor.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I know that.
Uhura? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, to be honest.
The Smurfette.
Yeah. Sulu?
Sulu?
Oh my.
Oh, okay.
George Takei.
Sure.
I think that's it for the original crew. Riker? That's next gen.
Here's what I know about Riker because I saw a TikTok one time. He sits in chair. He gets into chairs.
Weird.
And
you know who he is, right? Jonathan Frakes? He was on The Doctors. He was a child abuser on The Doctors. That's a soap opera Tony and I.
That was when
edited.
you took over editing, so I don't know about that part. I know about everything before I gave The Doctors to you because I didn't want to do it anymore.
He directed a lot of Leverage. He's directed some Burn Notice. He directed, infamously, Clock Stoppers, which I have problems with.
You can't get into it again. Can't keep...
He also directed something Christine Cherry wrote.
You can't keep being this mad about Clock Stoppers.
I will never stop. But he also directed something Christine wrote for school. So that's pretty cool. Christine and Bree met Jonathan Frakes.
Neat.
I don't know his name. There's that dude with like the weird...
He's got the forehead.
The forehead, yeah.
I know there's...
And he looks angry. Worf, I think his name is.
If you say so. I've seen that.
I know there's like a shapeshifty dude named Odo, I think.
Brad. God, I want the power of shapeshifting so bad.
Quark might be a guy or something.
That's a robot. You're thinking of Doctor Who.
I know there's Q. Q's like a fuckhead who just does whatever the fuck he wants and just messes with everybody. I know that. I know Q. He was on Days of Our Lives. I know people from soap operas. That's weird.
Oh, you know what else I know about Star Trek? Galaxy Quest and that one episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, I know those things too.
Those are great. Those are my touchstones.
I am intimately familiar with Galaxy Quest. Not so much the Black Mirror episode, but I've seen it more than once.
Galaxy Quest is one of the best movies ever made.
True. I think I've seen maybe one or two next-gen movies. I don't remember which ones. I think it had a green cover. I want to say like Insurrection or something. I don't know.
Sure.
I have not seen any of Voyager or Deep Space Nine. I don't really know which is which. I get those two mixed up all the time. I know one of them is Janeway and one of them is, I want to say Cisco. He's like...
Cisco's are phones.
He's like this...
My dad sells them.
He's this like bald guy and he like has this whole speech about like being morally gray.
Okay.
I've seen it on Tumblr. And I think there's an episode where he plays baseball.
From having like only seen the movies and like...
I've only seen the first two.
And like cultural osmosis. Is this what you were expecting to watch?
No. A little? I mean, the thing is I don't think this is what it's going to be. Because it got rejected. So they definitely retool it. But, oh wait, one more thing that I know. Khan.
I don't actually know what that is. You were like, we're going to call it the Watch-A-Thon of Khan. And I was like, that's a Star Trek thing, I guess.
The second movie is called The Wrath of Khan.
Okay.
And there's a scene where William Shatner just looks up into the sky and just screams, Khan! So that's what that's a reference to. It's been parodied on Seinfeld and a bunch of other places. It's played by the guy that's like the Spy Kid's grandfather.
Oh, rad.
Yeah. And then in Star Trek Into Darkness, the second J.J. Abrams movie, he's played by Benedict Cumberbatch, which is terrible. But yeah, I expected it to be kind of harder sci-fi, and it kind of is. Kind of.
Yeah.
So
I expected it to be less sexist. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It is a little sexist.
Oh, like right off the bat and aggressively. Not like a normal amount.
I do think part of that is intentional. Here's what I think. I think they gave Pike too many flaws.
Sure.
I think like they wanted him to be kind of, because there is just a scene where he's like, I'm not used to women being on board. And you're like, what the fuck? But I think they wanted to do that so he could grow or whatever. But like, you have that on top of he's like, I don't want to fucking do this job anymore. That's like his first real scene is he's just like, So it's like, I don't know. I was like,
why are you here?
I instantly do not care for this guy because he doesn't want to do this job and he's rude. He does stuff later in the episode that I really like. But like, yeah, it's just initially it's very off-putting.
What's also very weird is he's like, I don't like women being here. And then there's like one woman who's been there the whole time.
And she's like, what about me? He's like, oh, you don't count.
You don't count. Like, okay. She's a lesbian.
I was about to say it's what I feel like in our group chat because I'm the token straight guy.
Like, down with cis. Not you.
But,
the cis are fine.
Let's talk about the cast real quick. So we got Pike.
Sure. Can you name anyone else?
I'm going to say it's going to be real quick because first off, we got Captain Pike, who's our main guy, who I think he's fine.
They're all non-entities. Every single person.
Except Spock.
Spock.
I don't know if he's memorable just because he's got
You're
ears,
like, oh, that's Spock.
Yeah, it's because you're like, oh, that's Spock. Pike, though, I think he's got an intense face, which is good. He's got really good eyes.
You're all about the eyes. You always notice eyes.
That's another thing I know about Star Trek. Pike now has his own series.
Ew, but I hate this guy.
I know. I think it's called Strange New Worlds or something. And he's played by the guy that played Black Bolt in The Inhumans and Doctor Strange. So you got him. Besides Spock, he's probably the most interesting character. You've got, literally, her name is number 1.
Oh.
I don't think she has a name. It's just number 1.
Is that the lieutenant or the one who gets yelled at?
No, the lieutenant.
Okay.
The one that doesn't count, I think. She's the one with brown hair. She's one of the ones who gets sent down at the end. I don't remember the name of the other one.
There's only 2 other women in this crew, and none of the women who appear in this pilot don't try to get fucked.
Even the ones that are like on the crew, like because the Telosians can read your mind and stuff, are like, oh, they both want to bone you, but they won't do it.
Which is, no, they don't.
But so let's finish talking about the crew real quick. So we got number 1. She's played by Majel Barrett. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Could be wrong. She eventually marries Gene Roddenberry, who's the creator of the show. She plays another character on the show proper, which is weird because is she not in the Menagerie as well? Is she cut out of it when they do the...
I don't think other people stress out about this as much as you do.
Yeah, that's probably true. She's also the voice of a lot of the computers. Like, I think she's been in every single Star Trek, if not just through the voice of the computers.
That is shocking to me.
She's fine. Like,
okay.
Part of the problem with this is the characters have nothing to work with.
Yeah.
They have no personality.
That is fair.
But she had nice hair. And then you've got... who I don't know his name, but I just call him Jimmy Olsen because he looks like Jimmy Olsen. He's just random dude, looks like a teenager.
Frankly, you know more than me. These group of people are so faceless and so nameless. It's like, some people will probably get this reference. When you're reading Murderbot and they introduce a whole bunch of humans, like a human crew, and you're like, I'm not going to memorize all those people. Half of them are going to die. I'll pick them up. If they're still around by like the 3rd book, then I'll start memorizing them. That's how this whole crew is. It's like, I'm not going to keep track of these people.
I think one of the reasons it must have gotten rejected is because of like how bland and generic all of these characters are. And I think like the show proper fixed that by going, hey, what if they weren't all white dudes?
Right.
There's one other crew member that I remember. First off, like when we first get Pike alone, because we get like the distress call, he goes to his quarters and just lays on his bed, which he's just all like, I don't know. It seems like it was put there for the ladies. You know what I mean? He's just
I don't.
Stretched out on the bed, laying very casually. And then his doctor, not his doctor, like his, I guess a doctor, but like a therapist comes in.
That's a doctor.
Yeah. The first step he takes in helping Pike with his problems is, hey, let's get drunk. Which I think that was a pretty good scene. But yeah, that's the scene where he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing on this ship anymore. I don't like it.
If you want to go be on a farm, that sounds nice.
Is that what he wants to do? He wants to be on a farm?
That's where he's from.
Yeah, because the Telosians do try to tempt him with that later.
Yeah.
A couple other things I liked about this episode. There's a bit where they land on the planet and there's these really cool humming plants.
That scene is cool. That is like the first thing where I'm like, yeah, like that's what you want out of a sci-fi show, is for them to like show up on this planet and be like, huh, that's weird and cool. And they do take like a significant amount of time on figuring out where the humming is coming from. It's coming from the plants, and then like
they touch a leaf and it stops. But not all of them stop.
Just the one it's
yeah, and then they touch another one and like multiple tones drop out. It's really good.
I was like, it seems like a lot of time dedicated to something that's like not at all plot related, but you're like, that is the sci-fi thing that I want, of like, we're on a new planet and that's weird. And like a lot of thought was put into it, right? It wasn't just like, oh, the trees are purple or whatever. Like,
right.
Somebody put some thought into that concept and it was cool.
Doing something like uniquely alien.
Yeah.
Another thing that this show got criticized for, they said there wasn't enough action.
For sure.
The action scene we get, and it goes on for goddamn ever, is a Pike gets taken into this like elevator and taken down, and just there's like 10 minutes of the crew just shooting
at the elevator. Action packed.
And it does nothing. I do like the payoff of this.
That it turns out that they had demolished it.
They blew it to hell.
But there's illusion stuff, so they just thought that they didn't.
Yeah.
That is a cool payoff, but also like we watched it for so long.
I think there's 2 separate scenes
for
of shooting the door.
so long. It's like, it's not working. Try doing it more. still not working. Like,
Try a different gun.
It's good that this is the first time we've seen anything happen.
The effects are fine, but it's just monotonous.
Yeah, I just saw that you had it in the notes as intense door battles.
I do want to talk about the, first off, let's talk about the Telosians. I don't know if you noticed this. They're all women dubbed over by men.
Okay, they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they wanted to give it like
another layer of alienness.
Yeah.
I that.
I think what they said is they wanted them to appear fragile but sound strong. Yeah, that's some bullshit. But it gives it a little off-kilterness, I guess. But they can produce illusions. And that's, I think, the best part of this thing is the illusions and stuff. Because, like, when he met the expedition and Vina, and they all turned out to be illusions. But, like, he gets put into, like, this, like, castle scenario, this, like, fantasy world.
That is fun.
That's pretty
that
cool.
It allows you to do all these different little scenes.
And the sets are all great.
The sets are amazing. It might just be that we're coming from Doctor Who. It might just be that we're coming from BBC level sets. I was continually impressed.
Another thing I liked about this is because like they're just trying to like make him, oh, you're in this other world and you want to bone this lady, Vina. But I do enjoy how Pike is immediately like,
oh,
no?
This is an illusion.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not gonna fall. What? Why? No. Like, there's a couple of times where he starts to get, like, tricked into it, but he's like, he always is like, I'm not doing this. I don't consent to this. And I think that's pretty good. I wasn't expecting that. Because I feel like most shows would have him be like, what's going on for too long.
Sure. What is the show that happens in that we get annoyed?
I don't know, Sense8 does it a little bit. Is that what you're talking about? Where people don't, like, acknowledge the weirdness? Is that what you're talking about? Or some show we were watching.
No, it's not. It wasn't Sense8. And it's not people not acknowledging the weirdness. It's that they're taking too long. Like, they, like, reveal a plot point and you're like, oh, it's Umbrella Academy.
Yes, Umbrella Academy.
They take too long to figure shit out. Where it's like, no, we know.
Like Rumor trying to find her family, and I'm like, you're in an alternate universe.
Your family is gone. I don't know why we're 3 episodes in and you haven't figured this out.
Yes. So it was nice just seeing him immediately be like, no? Because I like I said, I feel like shows like this would normally just have him be swayed by it or more confused about it and not immediately be like, they're trying to fuck with me and I'm not going to let them. Because that's how I'd be.
Of course.
So that's the one.
Dial up to 11.
That's the one aspect of this I really enjoyed was just Pike's like, I'm not going to be fucked with. That's the one thing I really enjoyed about this episode. They do that. They do a thing where she's a green alien woman doing some kind of sexy dance, which I think gets into the end credits of every episode. And they do a little montage. And like, they made like a documentary about the actress, and I think it was called The Green Girl or something like that, because that's what she's known for, is just being in the end credits. Not even the episode itself, just being in the end credits.
Huh.
All those scenes are pretty fun though, and the best one is the farm.
Yeah.
Where like there's a couple of horses there, and it's the one that like almost gets him the most, because he's like,
because that's what he wanted.
Yeah, and he's like, oh look, it's my horses.
That is, I won't lie, that is adorable. My horses are here.
Pike's a horse girl. We also see some other prisoners. There's like a big like ape looking thing. I think that was from some other show that they just used.
Is it like a zoo? Is that the deal?
Yeah, I think that was an alternate title for this for a little while, was the zoo, maybe. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, it's like a zoo. Question, there are definitely other prisoners here. Are they just still there?
I guess.
They let Pike, his crew, leave because they're like, oh, I guess you guys just don't want to be enslaved, so fair enough, we'll let you go. I guess.
Do you say that like, that's a weird thing about humans?
They don't like being enslaved. Are we just to assume that the rest of the prisoners there just fucking love it? They're having the greatest time. Okay, so do we want to talk about the ending with Vina and how bullshit that is?
I was livid.
Because, like, what happens is, like, she reveals at the end that she did crash land on this planet, and they tried to fix her up, but they didn't know anything about humans. She's just severely, like, disfigured and stuff, and they've been, using their hallucination powers to make her look pretty.
Okay.
She's just gonna go live in the Matrix.
She's like, I'm gonna stay here so that I can keep looking like this. And he's like, yeah, I get that. Like, he says, like, oh, she wanted to stay, and I agree with her opinion. And it's like, whoa! What? So also, like, what's the deal here? Like, what's the setup now that they're like, oh, humans just really don't like being in prison? Is she, like, submitting to be in prison?
She's just
so that
gonna live in this delusion because it beats the
because
alternative.
It's so bad. It would be so bad for her to just live a life. Oh, it's so gross. It's so ableist. It's bad. It's
bad.
Very bad. It's very bad. And also, like, what was the point of any of it?
Good question. I mean, I think this show is gonna be a sort of, if we watch more of it, is going to be sort of a more just going to a planet, fucking around and finding out. I don't think there's like an arc or anything. It's just like, let's go to a planet, see what happens there. I think there's going to be a lot of like just different stories, you know, a lot like Doctor Who.
Yeah, which is fun.
I enjoyed most of the plot up until that ridiculous ending. Honestly, up until like the brain people were like, oh, your crew has the hots for you.
Every woman you've ever met has secretly wanted to fuck you this whole time.
It is a weird plot to have your pilot be, what if the main character is put in a cage where aliens want him to fuck?
What if everyone wanted to fuck you?
Yeah.
Also, is there like a reason why he doesn't want to?
Oh, Ace. He wants to bone Mr. Spock.
I was just wondering. I mean, it's not like an ideal situation.
Yeah, like, you don't know, like if they're, like, manipulating your brain, like, how can you really consent in a situation like that?
Right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like, it's all sketchy as hell and manipulative. So, like, I honestly think it's great that he's like, no thank you?
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna bone this stranger because you want me to. Even, like, I think it even says, like, he admits that he finds her attractive and stuff, but he's like, no.
This is weird. This is too much.
Yeah, like, if we met outside of work. I don't know. But this was what Star Trek was gonna be like. I don't think I'd want to watch it necessarily.
Oh, same. Yeah. But I can see where it could be something that I would enjoy. I could see the pieces there, and I could see how someone could take those pieces and retool them.
I think what they do is they do add more action. They make it a little faster paced. They're like, oh, every one of these characters is boring as hell, but we already got the makeup for Spock, so he's staying. Actually, I think they asked the main guy if he wanted to continue when they did the second pilot, and he was like, nah, I'm good. So he, like, bowed out. I think he was doing something else or something. I don't remember. But, like, it was offered to him. But instead, we get William Shatner. And I think they were making them, the episodes, and they needed to produce them faster, or they were literally not going to have episodes that could air. And that's why they're like, we'll just film a wraparound.
For the pilot?
Yeah, we'll just make it a past adventure of the previous captain. The special effects and stuff were taking a lot longer than they expected it to. And so they were getting behind, and literally they were about to run out of episodes that were like needed to air.
I know that feeling well.
And that's why this episode was recontextualized as the menagerie. So, but that's it. We're going to take a quick ad break, then we'll be back. Maybe we'll do a quick final thoughts and some discussion about some stuff.
Coming this summer to a podcast near you. Be prepared for the return of...
The Jedi.
No, the return of...
The King.
No, the return of...
Swamp Thing?
You are such an idiot. The return of...
Oh. The Monster Sci-Fi Show.
Yes, it's coming back and it's about time.
The Monster Sci-Fi Show is part of the Rebel Alliance, part of your complete breakfast, and part of the ESO network. It's sci-fi from a certain point of view.
And we're back. Toni, do you want to do a bit, or do you just want to do final?
I think we all know that I don't do bits.
Okay. So do you want to just do this segment?
I mean, it's time for final thoughts.
Oh, okay, cool.
Final thoughts.
So, Toni, what are your final thoughts?
I feel like I just said them before we went to the commercial break, which is ultimately, if this is what Star Trek was, we wouldn't want to watch it. But I can see how it could become something that is fun. Is Star Trek very sexist? Does anyone know? Can anyone tell me how much I should brace for, or...
I have no idea. I mean, it's the 60s, so...
Right. Just a normal 60s amount?
I think it's going to be probably roughly equivalent to what we've been experiencing on Doctor Who, to be honest.
All right.
I'm assuming there's going to be those, yay, feminism episodes as well that are just, clunky as hell.
So clunky. I don't know why. I mean... In the 60s, in the early 2000s, why does the clunky yay feminism episode have to have them all dancing? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you why it's all clunky. Probably because it's written by dudes.
Yeah, but why? Why is there always a scene where everybody dances?
Again,
all the women dance, and it's
dudes.
Girl power. Because they're all, and it's the same dance. It's you gotta throw your hands up above your head and sway your hips, and that's how people know that you're an empowered female. If you do this.
It just means you're free, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought this was fine, but not amazing. It looked nice.
I was really impressed with the sets, and I was really thrown by the theme song. I think in a way that, I can tell it's gonna grow on me. You know what I mean? You're oh, that's not what I was expecting. And then I feel the more that I listen to it, the more I'm going to be
yeah.
And I'm going to do this.
You're going to do...
I'm going to do the female empowered dance.
You got to subscribe to Patreon and see that dance. Speaking of Patreon, and speaking of us continuing watching this show, if you'd like to see us do that, if you'd like us to watch the rest of this show, maybe consider becoming a Patreon.
It's a stretch goal. It's there. The reason why the stretch goal is set at what it's at is because it's the amount of money it would take for Joe to be able to edit 2 podcasts at the same time. It would have to replace part of an income, essentially.
I might need to adjust that price before this episode goes up, but yeah.
Yeah, because we had a little bit of a discussion about it when you first put it up, and I was that's not enough, because you're not going to have enough time to do both those things, and you're but I want to do it, so I'm going to put it lower.
So yeah, if you want us to continue, it would really help if you donated to the Patreon. You know, we've got multi-tiers. You can jump in at $1. You can jump in at, I think our highest tier is $15.
Also, by the way, thank you to the patrons that we have.
Yeah.
If you go and you listen to our first episode, we sound so much better. Our webcam, if you are a patron and you watch with us, we look better. And that's all stuff that we were able to do because we could take it out of the funds we raised from Patreon. And that's awesome. And thank you so much for helping that. Thank you. That's very cool.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I don't think we'd still be doing it. I don't think we'd be doing New Who if we didn't have your support, really.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If we were just doing it to fuck around, I'd probably be well, we did it.
We did Classic Who, that's enough. But now it's yeah, people like it and people want it and people are paying us for it, so let's keep doing it.
We'll keep making stuff.
But if you want us to do even more stuff...
rope your friends into it?
Yeah.
Can we become an MLM?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Get people in your downstream.
You go recruit 3 people, those 3 people recruit 3 people, and then we've got just a whole bunch of... what do we call our fans?
Friends of Rassilon?
Friends of Rassilon, yes. That is what we call
it.
That is,
if you become a patron, there's a whole page on our website that is called Friends of Rassilon, and we,
put you on it.
If whatever you want. If a link to something, if you want to advertise something. Friends of Rassilon, so.
And we mention you on the podcast and everything. So consider becoming a friend of Rassilon at patreon.com/Watch-A-Thon. Also, if we do continue this podcast, the Watch-A-Thon of Con, is that what we should call it?
Please help us. We don't know.
Joe
is very tired of this conversation. Very, very tired of it.
For every conversation I've had about this, everyone's there's no good title. Every title has a problem.
I think part of it is that we're trying to figure out. So, like, we did the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon, which is obviously a great title that I came up with and is amazing because it rhymes. But we want to, like, do we have, like, an overarching brand that's, like, the Watch-A-Thon? And that's...
So that's why the Watch-A-Thon of Thon.
But then they just can't all rhyme, Joe. They just can't.
Part of the problem I've heard is, like, there's not enough syllables, which I think I don't care about syllables. Watch-A-Thon of Con is fine. I think Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon is good, but also, like, it's long, and I don't know if every single podcast title needs to be that long.
Right.
Vince suggested the Watch-A-Thon of the Wrath of Con, or Watch-A-Thon of Wrath of Con, which does flow, but also to me sounds like we're just watching the same movie over and over again.
I have listened to this exact conversation happen thousands of times. So if you're listening and you have an opinion, let us know.
Or a suggestion. There was one that Vince pitched that I did kind of like.
What's that?
Start/REC, like record. Start rec.
Oh, that is good.
That is good. It doesn't have our brand name on it. But
it could be like the Watch-A-Thon presents Start Rec.
Yeah.
Start Rec that is pretty good. But yeah, I think now we're kind of in a weird time where, like, we've wrapped up Classic Who and we want to keep making stuff. We're in a time where obviously we're going to move on to New Who.
And I'm still going to be doing all the, like, expanded Doctor Who stuff for bonus episodes, which is another thing you can get on the Patreon.
But I do think we're in a time where we kind of want to branch out and try a bunch of things and see what sticks. And I think part of that is getting feedback from y'all on these bonus episodes of what you think works, what you think doesn't, what you would be interested in hearing more of. So please let us know.
And speaking of those bonus episodes, bonus pilots, the next episode we're doing is going to be Walk With Me, where we're going to go on a hike and do a podcast. I know it's hot.
It's been so hot. When I came up with that idea, it was
hot.
fall.
The temperature is cooling down a little bit.
Yeah.
So
we'll
maybe.
see when that comes out. It will be very dependent on when the heat wave breaks.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just go walk around in, like, an indoor place.
Can we become mall walkers?
Yeah.
Mall walk with me?
Maybe. The thing I'm worried about that would be sound.
No, it's fine. We lean into it. We do, like, man on the street in the mall.
So maybe this hike podcast is going to become a mall walk podcast.
It won't. I physically hate being in malls.
Yeah, like if there's
I
an
associate it with, like, the worst times of my life.
There's an indoor place that we can record a podcast. That'd be great. You know what? Maybe we could do it at, like, Cloudland Canyon or something, because, like, there's a lot of trees there. We could be in the shade
Not
at least.
enough.
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. After that, we're doing our Farscape podcast, which is the Watch-A-Thon of Zon. It's pronounced Zan, but I'm pronouncing it Zon for the purposes of rhyming. That one definitely needs a new title.
Have to rhyme.
Then we're doing our Richard E. Grant Doctor Who special. Then we're doing the Watch-A-Thon of Avon. Going to be our Blake 7 episode. Then we're going to do Talk With Me, where we answer your questions. Send us questions. What's the last one we're doing? Oh, the Watch-A-Thon of Raph and Don, which is the best one that fits that.
That fits the cadence, yeah.
Which is going to be our Ninja Turtles one.
I do think we might just have to be like Watch-A-Thon presents in, like, small, like, that's not really part of the title, but it is. And then just so that you don't have to be like the Watch-A-Thon of whatever. They should have their own titles. I think that's the way to go.
Well, yeah, just let us know your thoughts. Maybe somebody out there, like some Star Trek
you guys
nerd.
Are much smarter than us. I think we
don't know anything about Star
firmly
Trek.
established that.
And they're like, oh, there's this concept in Star Trek that fits perfectly, that fits your rhyme scheme and everything. That'd be great.
I think you have to let it go.
Nope. But yeah, just let us know.